Let's go to the hotline. I believe we have the founder of Bless Up Athletics, Lance DeZee, on the YSN hotline. Lance, is this you?
Yes, sir, it is. How we doing today?
Coach, I'm doing wonderful. Yourself, sir?
Staying as safe as possible, safe and busy.
There you go. All right, let's talk a little bit about Bless Up Athletics. What is Bless Up Athletics, and tell everyone how you got this started, Coach.
Okay, so Bless Up Athletics is a basketball skill development training brand. So what I do is I do either individual workouts, small groups of 3 or 4, and I also do team workouts as well. So it's my workouts. I will say this, I'd put a lot of detail in and a lot of time on the side within myself to do this. I watch a lot of film of the players that I train, so each individual player that I train is trained different because, of course, every player trains and plays different, too, on the court. So for me, every workout is tailor-made for that player's individual game. And I also do a lot with recruiting on the side. I believe that this area, as far as basketball is concerned, is very – when it comes to exposure, there's a lot of players around here that can play at the college level. So I always like to help these kids gain some exposure with that access to it as well. But it's a lot of workouts, it's a lot of film, it's a lot of being on the phone with college coaches, and I will say my brand is based off the family concept. All of my clients are really close to me, really good kids, hard workers, and I love what I do. So,
Lance, talk a little bit about how the youngest kids that you work with, and are we just talking exclusively high school kids, or are we well below the high school ranks and well below junior high ranks?
So for me, I train just about everybody. I train a lot of 7th grade boys around the area, a lot of 7th grade girls. I also train some college kids, some high school kids. And then actually this year, the TBT is a 2-week-long winner-take-all $2 million basketball tournament that's broadcast live on ESPN every summer, and it's sponsored by Puma. So I'm actually also the head skill development coach for Tampa 2020 in that tournament, and we are made up of a bunch of G League guys, some former D1 guys, some overseas professional guys. So I'm involved with pretty much basketball players at every level. Last summer, Costa Koufis, who is an Ohio native, 13-year NBA veteran, I was able to have the blessing to help him with his camp last summer. So that's another thing that I've been able to do through my brand stuff. But I train pretty much anybody that wants to get better involved with basketball, and improve their skills. I'm interested in working with them. So,
how has your training and the workouts that you give your clients kind of changed during this quarantine, and what kind of advice have you been giving to your players?
Well, one of the biggest things, and everybody involved with all sports has been, drastically affected by this virus. As far as basketball is concerned, June's the big basketball month. But, as soon as the season ends, normally players will take that 2 weeks to a month off. But as soon as their off season starts, my on season starts. The summertime months are the big time months to get better on the court and improve their craft. Maybe add some new stuff, maybe tweak some stuff here or there. So for me, not being able to get in the gym with them has been frustrating. So I've done a lot of virtual workouts, Zoom meetings where I'll have a group of anywhere from 10 to 20 on there. I had a group of 6. I think I had 2 of them last week, and I had 2 groups of 6 I had on there, and it's a lot of ball handling. It's a lot of stuff that I can do, and I can teach them without a hoop because not everybody's got access to a basketball hoop, of course. So a lot of it's been virtual, touching base with the kids every day. The players that I train, I touch base with them every day, if not every other day, just to make sure that they're staying healthy, staying safe, taking care of things in the classroom. A lot of high schools are starting to get out into summer break now. And for my college guys, most of them are done with the semester as well. So just touching base with them, making sure everybody's doing what they need to do on and off the court. And then, of course, for me, I'm watching a lot of film myself, just preparing workouts for the upcoming summer, when the virus warrants getting back into the gym. So just staying as prepared as possible is what I'm focusing on right now.
Coach, facility-wise, do you have a place where you can have these kids work out and not step on the toes of any of the local high schools by using their gym?
I do. I have been blessed with the chance to use St. Michael's Gym in Canfield. That's kind of my home base, I call it. I'm also on the move a lot. So, a lot of the kids that I train, they obviously are local kids, of course. I do go to their individual schools if that works better for them. So I do a little bit of both. I'm on the move a lot, and I have a home base, is what I like to call it. Yeah.
Lance DeZee, he is the founder of Bless Up Athletics. Lance, as a 7th grade basketball coach, I'm going to ask, when you have a kid coming up and saying, "Hey, I got to work on my 3-point shot," what do you tell a kid that is only interested in chucking up threes?
Well, I will say this, Ron. The basketball, the pace that the game is played at is a lot faster nowadays, and shooting the deep ball is something that's highlighted more now than it ever has been. The biggest thing for me when it comes to any young kid is teaching them how to play basketball the right way. So if I get a kid, that wants to come in and shoot the 3 ball really well, I got to make sure he's shooting the 2 ball really well first. I've always believed in, layups, and being around the basket has always been the highest percentage shot that goes in. So perfecting that and getting the feel of that down first and working their range out to the 3 is how I work at it. The biggest thing with young kids is when it comes to the form on their shot, they're not physically developed all the way yet when it comes to their body strength. So some kids will tweak their shot in a bad sense, and maybe have some bad habits come along with it with their shot in order to get it to the hoop because they want to shoot threes. So for me, I work on the form, make sure that their form's right, and then I work their shooting strengths out to the 3 over time.
Tell us, how did this whole Bless Up Athletics thing start for you, and what gave you the passion to kind of do what you're doing now?
Well, I've been a basketball guy ever since I knew what basketball was at a really young age. And, playing at Western Reserve, had a really good career there. Went on to play at Bethany College, and, I got to my sophomore year of college, and I was sitting there in my dorm room the one day, and I just was thinking that I wanted to challenge myself regarding basketball in a different way. I mean, I was hungry to take that next step in my basketball career, and I knew all along that as soon as my playing career was over, I wanted to stay involved with the sport, or else I'd go crazy without it. So for me, 15, 16 years old, looking to the future, I've always wanted to be my own boss. And so being involved with basketball and being my own boss, I kind of experimented a little bit and doing a lot of thinking, a lot of praying, and then I combined the two together, and that's where my skill development brand came to be. I love helping kids. I want to help kids get to the college level and get free money to go play the sport that they love at the next level. And on and off the court, for me, it's bigger than basketball. I preach academics. Being a student athlete, I feel, is the most important part of getting to where you want to go. That's on and off the court. And then on the court, obviously, you want to get better on the court and help them play a lot more minutes than they maybe did the year before, or, help them gain their confidence to be better. That's the biggest thing with a lot of kids is confidence. Helping them to achieve what they want to achieve in workouts helps produce the confidence needed on the basketball court to be successful. So all those things tied together, it's an around the clock type of thing. But I couldn't be happier doing what I'm doing. It's a dream come true for me as far as I'm concerned. So,
in an ideal world, Coach, how long would you want to have the ability to work with a kid during the summer? Do you normally go 4, 6, 8 weeks?
I go all year round. Now, for me, like I said, the biggest thing with the off season is that's the time to tweak some form stuff with their shot, or work on their ball handling, or work on the things needed to improve. Now, my workouts do change big time during the season. During the season, it's more or less about keeping them sharp, making sure that their skills are staying sharp, making sure that if they're having like a shooting slump, for example, I work on that just to make sure that their percentages stay up. And it's a lot of repetition. Now, like I said, with film, I watch a ton of film. I watch, probably 2 to 3 hours worth of film a day of the kids that I train. And so during the season, I'm going to watch them in person, seeing what they're struggling with, seeing what they're, working really well with. And then I make the workouts more towards their weaknesses too, just so we can see more success during the season on that. But it's all about keeping them sharp during the season. Then off-season wise, it's adding new things, changing this or changing that, or maybe tweaking a little bit of this or that, and going about it that way. So it's a 24-hour a day, 12 months a year process for me as far as helping these kids improve.
If a parent wants to have their child go to you for some tips and for some training, how do they go about getting their child involved in what you do?
So as far as getting a hold of me, you mean? I'm on social media. I'm on Instagram. That's at BlessUpAthletics on my Instagram. Lance DeZee 23 is my Twitter account, and I'm on Facebook as well under my name, Lance DeZee. I'm on Facebook as well. I do have some business cards that I've given out in the past that might be revolving around. But for me, a lot of my clientele has come through word of mouth, which is a blessing. The fact that parents of the kids that I train or the older kids, the fact that they're, they feel that I'm helping them on and off the court and they're willing to pass my information along and that sort of thing, that's a huge blessing to me. But I pretty much, like I said, with the age-wise and anything like that, I train anybody that's passionate about this sport and that wants to improve. I'm more than willing to work with them. So,
Lance DeZee, founder of Bless Up Athletics, joining us on the YSN hotline. Lance, you talked a little bit about the state of high school basketball and just the state of basketball in this area. It's no secret that we are behind the eight ball in terms of our talent level or production level. We have not had a team from the Mahoning Valley, boys-wise, go to the state tournament in the Final Four since LeBray did the trick 9 years ago. West Branch girls have gone down to Columbus a couple of times in the last 10 years, but that's been about it. What are some of the reasons why this area has fallen behind basketball-wise as compared to the other areas in the state?
That's a very good question. For me, the biggest thing when it comes to what I do and what I preach to my clients that I train is basketball is it's got to be it's got to be a constant thing with you. Like it's got to be, you can't just show up for practice or a game and then that's it. It's got to be working out on your own. That's the biggest thing with my business is, I don't ask these kids to come work out with me 5 days a week. I ask them to, 1 to 2 days so I can teach them a little bit and they can learn a little bit and then do some stuff on their own. And the ones that do stuff on their own, I always tell them, look, trust the process. If you do stuff on your own, you're going to improve in half the time somebody else would if they didn't do anything on their own. So it's just finding that schedule, that regimen, whatever it may be that works for you and working on your own and constantly looking for ways to improve. That's the biggest thing. As far as teams are concerned, I will say on the boys and the girls side this year, there are going to be some really good teams around the area. So we may see one go this year. But it's when it comes to going on a big time tournament run, it's not about just skill. It's about having a little bit of luck too. And you've got to get lucky at certain points in the game. But you've also got to be disciplined and you've got to be battle tested throughout the season in order to make a run like that. Because once you get to that tournament, it's win or go home. And being able to mentally stay in the game, play well with your teammates, listen to your coaches, and do all the things you need to do and cross the boxes off. That's what's going to get you to the state tournament. So,
Agreed 100-fold on that. Monetarily, how much does it cost for you to give out some lessons for kids, Lance?
So individuals, I do $25 a session. For me, like I said, with my business, I'm not in it for the money. I'm in it because I really love this sport and I really love helping kids. And seeing kids get to where they want to go on and off the court, Whether it's committing to a university of their choice to play the sport in college, or, seeing a big-time improvement from the year before to the year that they're currently in, seeing those successes and knowing that I was able to be a small part of that. Because, of course, they're the ones doing all the work. I'm just they're the ones driving the car. I'm just the GPS that's getting them from point A to point B the quickest and most efficient way. But, they're the ones that deserve all the credit. So seeing them improve, that's what I'm in this for. And like I said with basketball, been a big-time basketball guy since I could walk, to be honest with you. And so being able to help basketball players that are as passionate about this sport get to where they want to go and help them out, that's what I'm in this for.
Hey, always a pleasure to have you on. Best of luck in your venture, and hopefully a lot of future basketball players are going to be giving you a shout and asking for some advice and having you work with them.
Yes, sir. It was a pleasure coming on. Thank you so much.
You got it. Lance DeZee, founder of Bless Up Athletics.